What's your dream? What's your goal? What's your motivation? What's important to you? What's your passion? What can you do to change the world? This is What's Involved. Conversations with thought leaders and change makers from around the world. Hear stories of hope and inspiration to help motivate people like you to live your life, find your passion, and live your dream. Together, we can all bring positive change to our world. Now, here's your host, David Watts.
And once again, it is What's Involved. It's so good to have you along with us. Special guest tonight, one that I have been told repeatedly that I need to get hold of and speak to. So I thought, what the heck? Let's do that. Who am I talking about? Well, her name is Jessica Pita. Hello, Jessica. Welcome.
Hello. How are you? I'm so glad to be here.
I'm so glad we finally managed to get this right. It's taken a while, let's be honest, but that's more me than you. Do you prefer to be called Jessica or Jess?
Jess.
Jess. Fantastic.
Yeah, Jessica just seems really long.
It does, and you know, if you're a radio presenter like me, you don't like to use long words. All right, Jess, let's start off and give me a little bit of history of Jess. At the moment, the way that I came to learn about you is through a friend of mine, and I believe a friend of yours now as well. And he said to me, "You've got to talk to this young lady. She does these inspirational talks and motivational talks." And I said, "Fantastic. Is she local? Is she South African?" He said, "Absolutely." So here you are. Take it away. Tell me a bit about Jess.
Okay, well, I am turning 20 actually tomorrow. So I was born in 2003. My name's Jess, so that's me. Around about the age of 11, I was told that I had a brain tumor because ever since I was little, around 4 years old, I kind of grew up with headaches, migraines. It was just this continuous cycle, and we couldn't figure out what was causing my headaches. I went for numerous tests, like allergy tests. I eventually got reading glasses, and the doctors, kept telling me, you're going to go for hundreds of tests, but we're not going to actually figure out what's causing your headaches. So then eventually at the age of 10, that's when I got my reading glasses. And we thought that would stop my headaches from, continuously occurring. But the next year, my mom was like, "You know what, Jess, let's go for a checkup. Maybe you need your glasses to be strengthened." So we went for a checkup. It was around about the end of April, May. I went into the optometrist. We had my appointment and whatever. And then she was like, "No, this is not normal. Jess, your optic nerve is swollen." And it was, incredibly swollen. It wasn't not a usual thing at all. So I was sent to an ophthalmologist, and that's obviously an eye specialist. So I went there with my mom also, and he did a bunch of tests as well, looked in my eyes, used all this fancy equipment. And then that's when he said, "No, you have a tumor, a brain tumor." So my mom was in shock. I didn't know what that entirely meant because I was so little, I guess. So I think it was the same day I was sent for MRI scans, CAT scans to confirm the brain tumor situation. And then we got the results back and it was confirmed. So I did have a brain tumor. So my mom actually refused to leave that place until it was all confirmed and we knew what was happening. So eventually we were on the way home. My mom was crying. She doesn't remember how she got home. I think she was just in shock. And we phoned the GP. We sent her all the scans. And then she's like, "No, you do have a brain tumor." So then she said that we should go to her offices the next day. So we went there at 8:00 the next morning, and then she looked again at the scans. She's like, "Okay, no, go home, pack your bags. I'm going to admit you into hospital." So she called up all the doctors. So she admitted me into Sunninghill Hospital. So I was there. I think it was the Friday, and then I was admitted either the Friday or the Saturday. And then already the Tuesday, May the 13th, that was when I went in for my operation. The day before that, I had an angiogram done, and it was unsuccessful because of all the swelling that the optic nerve was swollen. The tumor was just causing too much chaos. So that was unsuccessful. So then the next day I went in for my operation. It was 11 hours. And ironically, this happened when I was 11. So it's, kind of funny. But
a lot of people just at the mention of tumor would not find anything funny. So I'm amazed. So let's just clarify though. What kind of a tumor was it? Was it cancerous?
No, so they didn't know if it was cancerous. So after my operation, they sent it in for testing, but it came back negative. So it wasn't cancerous or anything. It's apparently a really rare tumor. It's called an epidendoma, I think. That's how you say it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like kind of one of those situations where it's 1 in 100 kids will get this tumor. And the doctor was literally, he doesn't have an answer to how it came across me. Like, is it a generic thing? Maybe it's that rare that they don't know how someone would pick up a tumor like that.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. How big was it? I mean, they were scrabbling around in your brain for 11 hours. I mean, how big was this thing?
The tumor was about, I think it was 4 or 5 centimeters big.
Wow.
I know my scar, I had about 37 stitches. He cuts open by the hairline, I guess. So you can't really see the scar, but it's quite big.
Okay. So now there they go. Crack your skull open like an egg and fish around in there and remove a tumor. Thank goodness, not cancerous.
No.
But when it was out and then they sort of showed you up again, what was it like? I mean, you were 11. This must have been terrifying.
To be honest, I was sedated most of the time because since it was like a head surgery, they said that there was going to be a lot of pain and everything. So I had a lot of wacky hallucinations. Some of them were really weird. But like just what I can remember from hospital is it's all like fragmented. I remember sometimes waking up. I remember the hallucinations, and because my vision was affected by this operation, it was all kind of dark to me. So all I can kind of picture is kind of shadowy because I couldn't really see. I think my vision then was a bit worse than it is now. So I think because the optic nerve had a bit of time to heal over the years, it's better, but still not great.
Okay, so let's talk
it was terrifying.
Yeah, let's talk about this quickly though, because you have this operation and it all happened fairly quickly, and obviously they had to operate to remove that tumor to relieve the pressure on your optic nerve. But you went in because of vision problems. And as I said, when I got a mail from you, it said blind motivational speaker. And I know, I felt like an idiot this morning typing to you saying my microphone has a problem. I'm like, David, she told you she was a blind motivational speaker, and I don't braille or anything like that. How bad is your vision? How much vision do you have?
So before my operation, I also started kind of having blackouts. My vision would just go black and then it would come back a few seconds later. So I was kind of farsighted. I just used my reading I just used my glasses for reading. And then after the operation, the doctor said because of the swelling done by the tumor on the optic nerve, my actual optic nerve is damaged. So what I have is called optic atrophy. And I'm proclaimed legally blind because of how bad my vision is. There's a whole rainbow, I guess, of blindness because there's different types of blindness. So my vision right now, my central vision, so out of the pupils of your eyes, it's completely black. And then it's kind of like pinpricks of lights that's kind of there, like hundreds of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if my brain's kind of trying to fill in the gaps or something. It's not doing a very good job, but anyway. And then my peripheral vision, so out of the whites of your eyes, but only the outer parts, I would say, it's extremely blurry to the point where I don't have depth perception or I'm colorblind because everything just fades into everything else. So I won't be able to make out a step or a glass door, a pole. I actually ran into a pole when I was 12 and had to get stitches. So that was fun.
I can imagine, and I mean, we can sort of talk about this in a lighthearted manner, but I mean, here you are, a young lady, you're sort of hitting your teenage years, and suddenly everything that people that are sighted take for granted is gone from you. I know a lot of people that would have right then and there put their hands up in the air and say, all right, can't do this, can't see, can't do anything, so I'm not going to do anything more. And yet you haven't done that. One of the most immediate challenges, though, I would imagine, is when it comes to dating. How do you know that if you're dating somebody good looking, does somebody have to tell you?
Yes. So I have like my wing people. So my best friend, he's like, okay, Jess, looks is a check. You can figure out the personality.
Oh, good. Well, listen, we're going to dive a bit more into the rest of your story and why you do what you do right now when we come back. This is What's Involved. My special guest is Jessica Pita, and what a wonderful story. And just what she does is fantastic. More from Jess when we come back in just a bit.
You're listening to What's Involved with David Watts. Have you been to our website? Check it out, www.what'sinvolved.com. And while you're there, click on the coffee mug icon and buy David a cup of coffee. He'll love it.
And we're back. What's Involved it is. My special guest is Jessica Pita. And we're talking about her story, what happened, how she dealt with it, and what led to her wanting to become a motivational. I don't like the word motivational so much. I prefer inspirational, because to me, somebody motivates you, they can come in there and they can make you all hyped up and excited. And then the next Monday, you go back to what you were doing and nothing's changed. Inspirational speaking, however, is something that sticks. This is just my opinion. So you've obviously finished school, Jess?
Yeah.
Did you stay at a normal school, or did you have to go to a school for visually impaired people?
I was told to go to the School of the Blind, but I was very determined and comfortable staying in my mainstream school. So the school was actually really kind enough to, try and figure out ways to keep me there and work with me to help me through the education, because this obviously happened in grade 5. So it was finishing primary school, then into high school. So the school did do a lot. Like, they installed TV screens that connected to the smart boards. So I had this mini TV screen on my desk where I was a lot closer. And then with the vision that I do have, I could kind of make out what was being written on the board. When I studied, I had a scribe that went with me to school. So my scribe would literally read all my notes onto an audio recording on my phone. And then that's how I would study, like speeches for tests, exams. And then I had extra time for my tests and exams because reading took me a lot longer. And also with diagrams, because I did physics till matric. Also
you
looking
nuts.
at those. I know, I am. So
Can I just tell you something? As another part of what we do is we do these textbooks, and we're now doing a whole lot of explainer videos for a company called Doxentia. So they do a lot of these textbooks. So I'm doing the voices for these videos that they're making. And I look at some of that physics stuff and I'm like, there's no way. Now you tell me you do it and you have impaired sight. Wow. Okay. All right. So let's move along a little bit. You managed to finish high school. Where did this desire to talk to people about it? Because you come across, and just talking to you now, you come across as a very bubbly, vibrant, confident person, which if you were to first learn Jessica's blind, you would think that you wouldn't be all of these things. And I know a lot of people go, when they hear that you're blind, they suddenly talk very slowly to you for some reason. I'm not sure what that's all about.
I don't get it. I don't get it. So I think it was around last year, June, when I started up with the whole idea of becoming a speaker. So I actually started university last year at the University of Pretoria, and I was doing foundation phase teaching, but it was all online because of the whole lockdown situation and social distancing. So I was always finished with my work. Like I would do work ahead, but I'd be done by 11 in the morning or something like that. Like it was crazy. So I was really bored in the afternoon. So I needed like a hobby or something. And then I was like, okay, maybe speaking isn't, it's actually a good idea. And me and my mom sat down on the couch one day, and then she found a trainer, and then that would just kind of, help me structure a speech just to get me started. And then I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to do it. Because like since my operation, I'd always be the one getting helped and needing assistance, constant aid all the time. And just to have the capability of helping others, it makes me feel a lot more independent and empowered, like just within myself, just to be able to help others, because there's not many like situations where I'm going to be able to help others because I can't see. So just having this kind of help over others, or to guide others in different situations, at least being able to do that's very ironic. So yeah, just having that capability to help others instead of people always helping me, that kind of also was an impact on why I did this.
So what do you speak on, Jess? So, and what sort of is your main topic? Is it overcoming obstacles? What do you talk about?
So I based my whole speech on like my disability or disabilities, but I've kind of learned to branch into different areas. So I will use like all that I've learned in my life, going from able-bodied to, gaining a disability. I take all those lessons and then I apply it to different situations that other people may be in. So I've done corporate worlds, I've done schools, I've done award ceremonies. So I take my disability as kind of a main idea, and then I bring in all these different situations or circumstances that other people want me to address. And then I can just apply it to all these different things. So one of my main topics is overcoming obstacles and overcoming disabilities or just general problems in life. And also, taking an empathetic approach in life, because it was like you said, when people figure out that I'm blind, they don't really take an empathetic approach. It's more sympathy, it's more shame, rather than believing that I am capable of doing everything that everybody else can do.
Yeah, I would imagine. I mean, I've grown up. I had some of my challenges. People know my story. I ripped at the top of my mouth, the roof of my mouth open when I was 4. And I was told I was never going to speak again. And if I did speak, I was going to have a speech defect. And the only problem with that whole situation is nobody told me that. So I didn't know I wasn't supposed to speak. So I just carried on.
Yeah, you just carried on speaking.
And I've got a sister who's been born with a disability as well. So I know what it's like. I know how people treat you. Specifically with my sister, they'll see her in a wheelchair, and then, as I said, I made the joke earlier, but then everybody talks a lot slower to her, and it's, shame. And she doesn't want sympathy. That's not what she wants. So I think the whole empathy side of it is amazing. I was chatting to somebody the other day in terms of where our corporate worlds are at the moment. And that's one thing that we are lacking in a big way in corporate South Africa. And I think it started before COVID, but COVID's got a role to play. Is we've lost that empathy, we've lost that love for our fellow man. And I think if I understand you correctly, that's the kind of thing you talk about.
Yeah, just the whole general idea of humanity. And it doesn't just need to be towards, people with disabilities. It's just people in general, because, it's like you said, like people have become so, I don't know, like more self-aware of themselves rather than others. And it's just not normal anymore to reach out. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I would agree with you 100%. And the problem is, and I've spoken to a lot of people that are high up in various corporate institutions, And they say that as well. You know, it's very much a me first, dog eat dog world out there. And people are suffering, and people's mental health is taking a hammering. And here comes Jess to go, hey guys, you know, I've got this challenge with my vision. And I've had all these challenges. They cut my head open and whipped out a tumor, and hopefully not too much of the brain, because, you know, that's the thing. I always imagine them using a spoon and just scooping it out. So I never really know. But we're going to have a break now. When we come back though, let's dive in a bit more to the whole concept of empathy and humanity, because I think that is incredibly important. So we'll talk about that when we come back. It is What's Involved. My special guest, Jessica Pita, motivational, no, inspirational speaker. That's what I'm going to call her from now on. We'll be back in just a bit.
We'll be right back with more What's Involved. David would love to hear from you. To leave a voice message, visit what'sinvolved.com and click Drop Me a Voice Note.
And we're back with my special guest, Jessica Pita. So just before the break, Jess, I said I'm fascinated about the fact that you can stand in front of people and talk about things like empathy and humanity. Now, I know that you spoke to a very big corporate not so long ago, that a mutual friend of ours, I think, put in a good word for you. It was Liberty, wasn't it, that you spoke at?
Yes.
What was your topic for Liberty now?
So for Liberty, I kind of also branched out into the whole context of the, you know, job world and everything like that, and kind of basing my speech on not only just daily struggles with a disability or any struggle, but also in the workplace. Like, you know, sometimes you get up on a Monday morning, there's no coffee, and then you have this stack of paperwork that you have to do. But you just need to kind of find the motivation to get through your week, get to the Friday vibes that you want to reach. So I kind of also used my disability and my whole journey to kind of apply to the corporate world and to maybe issues that may be in the corporate world, because I know sometimes it's a financial struggle, you know, like there's load shedding, there's all these different economical problems that are happening, petrol's going up, like all of these different things that people will have, you know, it's all new. Well, I wouldn't say new, but you're going to have to get used to these things. The world keeps changing. It might not be going your way, but you just have to learn to deal with it and look for the positive side and try and just push through to where you want to be.
Now, talk to me about that for Jess herself, because I know, and I don't consider myself disabled in any way other than being a radio presenter, but I wake up some mornings and I think, you know what, I'd actually just like to stay in bed. I don't want to face the world. I don't want to do anything. This morning, I had an issue. I was supposed to be recording some voiceovers early in the morning. I like to do it very early because I get up very early, and we have a young Rottweiler puppy.
Okay.
And they all went running out this morning when we let them out at 4:00 to go now and explore the world and bark and tell everybody who the boss is. And he ran straight into the swimming pool at 4:00. So I had to fish him out. I got him out and he was sort of between my legs. Now, I still had my pajamas and my slippers on at this stage.
Yeah.
And then he proceeded to shake himself dry.
Oh.
So I was soaked at 4:00 in the morning, and I had a little temper tantrum, and I simply refused to do my voiceovers. Now, that you can say that's just me being a prima donna, which it probably is. But these are things that happen to all people, and you must have challenges. I mean, you know, I get up in the morning. My routine is when I do get dressed, you know, I take for granted that I can shave and brush my teeth and have a shower and then just whip the first thing that's on the top of the pile of clothing in the cupboard and get dressed. And I don't have to worry about whether I look good or not because, wow, it's my voice that people want, and I'm old and grumpy anyway. But you are a young lady. How does that kind of stuff, does it get you down?
Not really, to be honest. Obviously, like the whole, I'd say the thing that hit me the hardest, like as a struggle or something that I can't do like normal people, is get a driver's license. I went to one of my close friends' birthdays, like his 18th birthday, and then his parents surprised him with a car. And then, we all went outside. They were clapping, congratulating. Everyone was super, super happy. And then it kind of hit me then that I wasn't going to get an opportunity like that. So that was probably the thing just in general life that hit me the most. And also going to parties maybe, and, people have a good time. They do weird stuff that, it's funny, but sometimes those visual comedy kind of things I miss out on. So I think that also gets me down, because then I kind of feel like I'm fading into the background and not really there with everyone. But things like brushing my teeth or just, I don't know, getting changed or, getting dressed in the morning, I kind of, I figured out ways to do those things. So it doesn't really get me down. Like with my clothing, I've learned all the colors of each different clothing item that I own, and then which pair matches which pair. Even with shoes, I've memorized which shoes should go with each piece of clothing. It's like my whole life is basically based on memorizing things. Yeah, that's basically what it is.
But I think this is the gist of what I'm getting at, Jess, is you've got this disability, which most people, let's be honest, would literally want to collapse in a heap with and go, that's it. Life as I know it is over. You have decided, no. You talk about memorizing clothes, memorizing your shoes. What do you think is it that makes you want to do this? How does Jess motivate Jess?
I have never actually thought about that. I don't know. I'm just not one of those people who lets themselves think about, all the bad, all the what ifs. I kind of, ever since my operation, I don't know, people say that I changed after my operation, like my personality, my attitude, everything changed to like a more positive thing. I don't know exactly how much it did change, but they say I became a lot more bubbly. I became a lot more positive. Like I was just a more happier person. I'm not saying when before the operation, I was depressed and sad and whatever, but afterwards, I just had this more determined attitude. So I think having that, I just I always push myself to do the best that I can. And, figure out ways to be independent, because I've learned that a lot of people just expected me to kind of not be able to do things. So yeah, I don't know. I just push myself to always prove people wrong. I guess that would be my answer.
Well, that's not a bad answer at all. I mean, I think being in your mom's place when her daughter says, "I want to be a motivational speaker," your mother must have just about fallen off the chair.
Not really. It was kind of like a team decision. She's actually called my momager. She has that position.
I love it.
Yes. So we were just like speaking about it. And then I'm like, maybe it's not such a bad idea. And then she's like, so do you want to do it? I'm like, sure, why not? And then, yeah, there it was.
I think that's incredible. Jess, how's it going in this? Because corporate speaking and inspirational speaking is a cutthroat industry. I can tell you because I've been on the fringes of it. How is it going for you? Are you getting nice bookings? Are you enjoying it? Are you getting good feedback?
Yes, I am. Well, okay, starting with the bookings, I've actually done quite a few. My first talk was in August last year, and up till now, I would say I've done maybe 15 talks, 20 talks, I don't know, somewhere around there. So a lot of people are booking me, and I've actually started noticing that there's a lot more recommendations from other people to schools or companies. And now everyone's starting to kind of contact me instead of me contacting them. So the word is getting out, which I'm really, really happy to see. And then just the general feedback from people, I think this is what I love most about being a speaker for people, is to hear the feedback and to see the difference that I am actually making. Because I've actually reached people all around the globe. So I have people on Instagram that I've kind of become friends with my social media, in America, in Italy, in London, like all over the world. And all the feedback that I'm getting, it's all positive, and, just gratitude for maybe putting a voice out there to disabilities, or helping them gain the confidence to, kind of come to terms with their disability. And then the feedbacks from the talks, I'd like to get write-ups sent back to me to see, what must I change? What must I maybe improve on? And a lot of it is positive. And, considering that I'm relatively new, I didn't expect all this positive feedback, but it's just all the feedback. It's mental. I don't even know. Like, I'm just so grateful, and it makes me so happy.
You know what I think it is, to be honest, just having chatted to you and not having met you in person, is I think people can pick up on your passion and your enthusiasm and your positiveness. And I think it's like this breath of fresh air. And I think corporate South Africa needs it. I also applaud you on going out to the schools, because I think, let's be honest, schools may not be where you're going to make a lot of money, but schools will certainly be where you can make a huge impact.
Yeah.
And I think you enjoy the schools as well, don't you?
Yeah, like I try and make it interactive for the learners. So I have like concentration grabbers. So I have a song that I kind of found when I was, coming through high school and whatever. It's called The Champion. So I use that in my speeches to make sure that everyone's focused. I teach them the most important lyrics that I think are the most important lyrics to like help them remember. And then I make them repeat it to me so that they can, kind of start to find something that'll help them, stay motivated and inspired, like that song did for me. So, and just speaking to learners, that's where I wanted to kind of start my journey with, because of the experiences I had through school, because, kids weren't very nice towards me having a disability. So I want to try and make a difference and not let other people go through the same things that I did. But I also do want to reach out into corporate, because I know there's a lot of people in corporate that have these, high platforms, but maybe somebody under them is too scared to say something, or just, any issues. I just want to try and address them, because people think that it's such a taboo subject to talk about. But I think it just should be a general thing, like a general conversation that you should have. And addressing schools, especially teaching learners from a young age about these subjects, it makes it a lot easier when they grow up. So, yeah.
Wonderful. Righty-ho, my special guest is Jessica Pita. This is What's Involved. When we come back, wrapping it up with Jess and finding out how you can get hold of her and maybe get her to your school, your business, all of that and more when we come back. It is What's Involved.
This is What's Involved. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. More next.
And we're back, wrapping it up. What's Involved it is. Jessica Pita has been my special guest. So, Jess, before I get into where we can contact you and how we can contact you, I'll ask all of my guests, what's next for Jess?
So with my speaking, I want to try and grow it to an insanely huge form. I know that's maybe a big step, but I believe in setting high goals. So just expanding my motivational speaking, reaching out to more schools, more corporate industries. I don't want to stay just here in South Africa. Like, I want to be able to have opportunities to go speak in America and Europe, like all over the world. I want to try and address as many people as possible. So yeah, I just want to grow my motivational speaking, help as many people as I can. I'm thinking actually I've kind of started looking into it, but not properly. I want to try and maybe start an organization to raise funds to maybe help other people with disabilities that can't afford like the machinery or the magnifiers technology that I was able to get. So maybe starting a foundation like that. And just growing, maybe getting a book out or something. I'm optimistic about it. And
it's all about audacious goals. And I firmly believe in that. But I was going to ask you about a book, because I think a book would be brilliant. I know people, if you ever need any help with that.
Thank you.
But let's quickly talk about, if somebody wants to get hold of you and book you for either a school or a corporate event or whatever, what is the best way to get hold of you?
So for bookings, I would generally recommend my email. That's flyingoneblind@gmail.com. Otherwise, they can also book through my website, which is www.flyingblindsa.com. Otherwise, my Instagram is x_flyingblind_x, and I also have Facebook, which is just Flying Blind.
Okay, so let's stick with one, because I need to be able to repeat that. So the website is a great place to go to find out more about you. So it's www.flyingblindsa.com.
Yep.
There we go. Flying Blind SA, all one word. flyingblindsa.com. You can get hold of Jess there, and she gets back to you very quickly, I must tell you. I'm very impressed with the speed that you reply. Anyway, listen, wraps it up for this edition of What's Involved. Jess, thank you so much for taking the time out and having a chat to us. And I know you're going to be doing great things. I know we're probably going to be chatting again, and we'll look back on this particular discussion and go, wow, those were the days. But I wish you all the very, very best.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure. There we go. As I said, wraps it up for this edition of What's Involved. To each and every one of you, look after yourselves, take care, and thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening to What's Involved. We hope this episode inspires you to find your passion and live your dream. Don't forget to rate, review, and share the podcast. And to see what's happening, what's going on, and what's coming, follow What's Involved on Facebook and Twitter @What's Involved. Thanks again for listening.